Yo, Phantomaniacs! Welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, brought to you by Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast available every single Friday wherever you get your podcast. Today, we are looking at, from Wave 1 of Super 7's G.I. Joe Ultimates, Snake Eyes and Timber. I already did a thing yesterday about, oh gosh, this grody Super 7, please, with these bags. I already did a thing yesterday about how long these took, so I'm not going to belabor that point. And if you watched my review of Duke, that you know that I feel they were worth the wait. I don't know what the wait was all about. I know there were some production things that they had to change at some point. But now that they're here, this line is delivering in a way that I just didn't expect. I didn't realize how much I wanted this kind of Joe. So the box is gorgeous. I've already talked about it. Look at just the weathering and everything else, the embossed Joe logo, and then on the back. Awesome box. Let's get to the figure, because I know you guys get a little impatient sometimes. But I like story time with your pal Dave. All right. The box full of stuff, by the way. On the back, you've got a great file card, some great sunbow shots of Snake Eyes. This one, as much as I love the Joe miniseries, and this is Snake Eyes look. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to put the boxes. I'm running out of space over here. I wasn't as excited about this one just because Snake Eyes without gloves is a weird look. But the figure has so much else to recommend it. It's and it had to be done also. Like, they had to do this Snake Eyes if they were going to do this line. Oh man, this timber. Ooh, boy. Oh, I wonder if Hasbro's timber had any influence on how Super 7. Very interesting. All right, I'm gonna set timber aside there. That is fascinating. Look at this beautiful jetpack that I'm going to try and remove from this cursed plastic tray as carefully as I can. Dude, this is my jetpack. Look at this purple and green. Are you kidding me? Great sunbow rifle. They can include that with every single Joe for the entire run of this series, as far as I'm concerned. He has got the canister of the deadly radioactive element. He's got mini hands, as Super 7 Ultimates do. Oh man, I love the wild sunbow laser pistols and things that were never part of the original toy line, that were just kind of part of that cartoon universe. And I love that Super 7 also included the regular rifle as an option. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. Although I will say, fairly thoroughly reviewed in the Duke review, which I recommend you check out. Even if you're not as big a fan of Duke, he's necessary. If you're collecting this line, you gotta have Duke. Okay, let's get the accessories out of the way and take a look at the man, the Commando, who did not come with an alternate head, because why? And now that I've got him in hand, he's great. Oh, you know what I didn't even mess with on Duke is that swivel at the top of the... It's really almost entirely concealed right here, but there is a swivel right there. Gosh, these are just gorgeous figures. So it is Snake Eyes. He is blue with black. His right arm is a little loose, but look, and I know this is a thing people kind of get annoyed with me over, but you know how much I care about that arm? Because guess what? It holds a pose. Like, the fact that an arm is loose means absolutely nothing to me if it can still hold a pose. What do I care? A little more friction, sure, might be nice, but I don't know. Doesn't bother me. He actually gets a little more. His shoulders can go a little further back than Duke's. He's got bicep swivels. He's got elbow, all the stuff. He still, I speculated or observed, I guess, that Duke couldn't quite get 90 degrees at his elbows because of his sleeves, but Snake Eyes can't either. So clearly that's just how these are designed. But as I've said many, many times before, with figures like these, it is more important to me that they look like the source material than that they be able to move like Spider-Man. That is my personal want. So he's got the ball-jointed waist. His web gear, the way that they've done this, is very interesting because it's a looser, soft plastic, so it doesn't hinder his movement, but it's attached at the shoulders, and it stays in place. But I would highly recommend, be careful with it. Don't go just ripping this stuff around, because these are collector's items. Yes, they are toys. Yes, I generally find Super 7's releases to be relatively durable, but don't be ridiculous with them. He has got more range in the head area than Duke had. Look at the gloss on his goggles. Such a nice little touch there. And if you notice, the goggles match the pouches and everything as they should, but the pouches don't have the gloss that the goggles have. Really, really nice effect. Look at just the plain old boots. You got some production schmutz on there. I'll clean that off. Swivel top boots, the ankles you expect from a modern figure. Just look at the beautiful squareness of that pouch. That is just, no attempt whatsoever to replicate the real world look of a pouch. This is what a cartoon pouch. These are what cartoon pouches look like, and I love it. I actually really like this is, again, I didn't realize just how much I loved this and wanted this. And I've got Hasbro's 25th anniversary Snake Eyes like this, that actually has the radioactive canister that's like translucent. I think parts of the figure are even translucent, but I mean, this is a whole other level. This aesthetically, proportionally resembles that Snake Eyes rather than just being a repaint of a toy Snake Eyes. So height-wise, I'm going to do this for each of these because I think it's important that people know that these figures are 7 inches tall, which means that you have a lot to overlook besides just the styling if you think you're going to put them on your classified shelf. There's just no world in which that works unless it's the bat and you're just like, oh, well, it's a giant bat. Because why not have a giant robot? He looks awesome. I am in love with this line. Like, I kind of knew I would be, but not the extent. All right, so let's take a look at Timber, an entire other figure that comes with Snake Eyes. He is almost a little too detailed to be Sunbow, and yet not. I don't know how to address that, because he looks fantastic, but I almost feel like it's too much paint, or the contrast is too clean. Blending is too good. I don't know. Like, he almost looks too good. He looks fantastic. He looks great. I'm very happy with him. But he almost looks too real. But if you look, the features, you can see. Let me get Snake Eyes out of the picture here, because we gotta focus on old Timber. The way that they've done the mouth and the eyes is very cartoony. I don't know. I bet if I put this right next to the TV screen with Timber on it, it would work out. the way that they've done the articulation here, he has got elbows that don't bend super a whole lot. This is in no way comparable to Hasbro's timber. I'll just say that. So his feet, oh, they are, okay, the feet are hinged, or the paws rather. And everything feels pretty good. I'm moving everything very gingerly because, habit, lessons learned. But everything feels nice and sturdy. Timber's body is a hollow, like ABS, which is fine. Like, it doesn't feel... I hate to say this, because I don't care. It feels cheap. But it doesn't look cheap. And there's no reason for this to be solid PVC. It's just not what you're expecting or what you're used to. You get a little bit of range of motion, lots of range of motion in the back legs actually, and then those rear paws also move. All right, so he does that. If you notice he's kind of posed. You can see that this leg is further forward. Oh, and look at, you've got a pretty, you might have noticed me doing this. It's got a pretty good little interesting little gimmick right there. But you've got the left front leg is forward and the right rear leg is forward to give them a little more dynamic look, because the intent was clearly never to make this as posable as Hasbro's, but it is definitely more, look, if you've seen, and you can get, the rear legs don't have quite the same range as the front legs. But I honestly, for whatever reason, didn't expect this to be much more... I really would like that tail to have a hinge, and it doesn't seem to. It looks like it's just a pivot right here. I really would have liked a hinge on that. But it's not. You can tell it's just a cut joint right there. But timber looks great. Nobody's going to beat Hasbro's timber ever. And this one didn't need to. It looks good. And again, if it had been as articulated, because if you look at this, the articulation is there, but it's really not breaking up the profile of the wolf. But I gotta say, Hasbro's didn't either. I don't know, they're two different products. Nothing's ever gonna beat Hasbro's timber, but this one looks like a great animated timber. And actually, if you look around the eyes are what really make this one look more cartoony and animated. And definitely softer sculpted fur. This is, you know what, this is a tough call. Or not a tough call, this is a tough job. Because how do you handle, I really feel like these should be a little more mobile, like these front ones are. But they don't seem to be. I'm certainly not going to force them. How do you do this? How do you make a cartoon wolf that is detailed enough, but not overly detailed? I think this was actually a tougher job than maybe I'm giving it credit for. But looks great. Looks great. Spent a lot of time on timber there. Sorry, guys. I was just fascinated. The Phantom Troublemaker jetpack, the purple and green, looks absolutely fantastic. I love the tampo right here, the yellow on it, just a nice detail. The hoses are painted. Looks great. We already put the jetpack, or not the jetpack, the backpack on Duke, so we know how these work. But obviously we're going to put this on Snake Eyes because you guys need to see it. They fit wonderfully. They're snug. They're great. The straps are on there pretty solidly. I'm not saying you should sit here and like grab the straps and yank on that. Don't do that. But I mean, it looks great. It hangs in the right spot. Wonderfully engineered in a way that I would not have expected to really even be possible because these don't move like Spider-Man, the fact that you can get the arms where you need them to slide something like that on is great. And then that it fits correctly once you do, just very impressive. Okay. So we've already... Well, we quickly looked at the Sunbow rifle. I'm not going to belabor it because I really did go over it with Duke, but it looks awesome. It's got paint on it. The sculpt is phenomenal. He has got a Sunbow laser pistol that is awesome and weird, and I love that he has it. He has got the canister with the radioactive element needed for the mass device. Love the Cobra symbol on the side. I'm going to have fun trying to figure out how to get him to carry it. And then we've got... Is this the... Oh, gosh, what... I should be able to tell you exactly what this is. I don't think it's the thing that they are measuring the radioactivity with. Is it? Tell me in the comments. I'm sure you guys can either Google it or know it off the top of your heads or whatever. But looks fantastic. The deco on it, just that fine detail of not just the numbers up here, but down at the bottom, the little wavelength with the red. I mean, this is fantastic. And then we've got alternate hands. You've got fists. You've got trigger finger hands. And then you've got, well, these are very similar to the binocular hands that Duke came with, except these move this way rather than up and down like the binocular hands. But I believe they're pretty much the same hands. And so what, let's see, let me try. Let's get that hand in there, because it seems like that's going to be the hand that maybe carries that canister. And I think it might take some doing to get him to hold the canister exactly how I want, but I've got faith that, you know, I'll be able to figure it out. At the very least, for the time being now, you've got that. So there you go. Man, this is awesome. I'm so happy with this line, and I really, you know, to be honest, I don't know that I was even fully excited for this line. I ordered them because I love G.I. Joe and I love Super 7, but I don't know that I was specifically excited for the figures themselves. I mean, I know that's a weird thing to say, and I don't know if I'm explaining it very well. Like, I was stoked to have G.I. Joe Super 7 Ultimates coming, but I don't know that I was really even thinking about just how cool the figures actually could be. It was really more just okay, cool, Super 7 G.I. Joes, awesome, glad to add those to the collection, and I hadn't really considered just how meaningful these were, or how great they would be if executed, you know, in the way that they have been. Oh, one more thing, I pointed out that Duke was capable of attaining a fully seated position, and I did not check, but I am imagining that Snake Eyes also will be able to sit down, and my speculation, pure speculation by the way, nothing to back this up whatsoever, is that Super 7 may have done this with a vehicle in mind, because it's just not every Ultimate can do that. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about needless things, and as always, he doesn't talk, you guys.
Smash that like button if you like needless things.